All right, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about our University of Utah football team, shall we?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. There's a couple things we want to talk about. The first thing is going to be some information. Well, basically, just the kind of the first article I saw on Sports Illustrated regarding Kelvin, man, the offensive tackle that we officially signed in December last month.
Yep.
Again, it's been a few weeks since we've been on, so we wanted to make sure we cover this one. We did talk about this kid earlier. He is 6'6", 300-pound offensive tackle, signed with Utah in December. We were pretty big on this kid when we
heard, because we'd heard that he had verbally committed, and then to see him actually, sign on National Signing Day, commit himself to the Utes, and then with all the trauma, which we're going to talk a little bit about coming up, but with all the Kyle Whittingham drama, there was obviously some big concern that you have a 5-star recruit, the first one in Utah football history. You think, could this guy potentially leave, right?
Right. And
Michigan's a big-time school.
There is a unique thing that you mentioned here that helped push this one across the line, right?
The big reason that you get, Kelvin Obot was this massive recruit.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's wondering, how are the Utes going to retain this guy? And Utah goes out and they find, obviously they've got to rebuild the coaching staff. And who do they go and find? How about Jordan Gross, who is his head coach at Fruitland High School in Fruitland, Idaho. And
yeah, that had to help.
Yeah, I mean that was the person that made him into a 5-star recruit. And if you don't know, I mean, some of these obviously generational Utah fans are going to know Jordan Gross was one of the best offensive linemen to ever play for Utah. He played from the Utes from '99 to 2002. He didn't allow a single sack in his final 2 seasons at Utah. He was named a consensus first-team All-American in 2002. So he played on some really good Utah football teams. And then he goes on to go coach high school football. And he gets his opportunity to move up to, the Power 4 level, become the offensive line coach at the University of Utah, and also gets an opportunity to coach his protege in the 5-star recruit out of a small town in Fruitland, Idaho, which is really, really cool.
Shout out to Idaho, by the way, my first home.
Boom.
Yeah. I think that's amazing, man. Gosh, can you imagine? That's a storybook right there, man. There's a made for TV movie in there somewhere for sure.
Absolutely.
Or at least an ESPN 30 for 30.
Yeah.
At least. Yeah.
I mean, such a cool story, dude. I mean, you go to the U, you play, you have an excellent NFL career. You retire, you go back to your hometown because he's from Fruitland too, or somewhere up in Idaho. He might have been Fruitland. Coach your high school football team. You get this kid and pull him and just build him into this massive, this kid had offers from Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, every Power 4 school was going after Kelvin Obot.
Mm-hmm.
And you convince him, hey, Utah might be the place for you. These guys are producing offensive line talent down there. They're sending guys to the league. We did just have the Outland Trophy winner, Spencer Fano. Shout out to Spencer Fano. That's freaking amazing. The top interior offensive lineman in the country.
Very cool.
So
very, very cool.
It's already an offensive line factory at the U, and a lot of that is obviously not due to Jordan Gross, but I think signing Jordan Gross just shows them, yeah, we're continuing to build product and push guys into the NFL. So really exciting for the U.
Yeah, very exciting. On3 had him as the 5th overall in his class, by the way. Second offensive tackle, only to Jackson Cantwell, who signed with Miami.
Yeah.
So when we talk about highly, touted player of his class, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much higher than that.
Yeah, top 5. When it comes to an offensive tackle and you're the second in the country, that's a big deal.
Pretty impressive.
That's a big deal. And not to see all the whole thing get thrown away simply because of the coaching change, which we'll get into in a minute, is pretty cool to see. We want to hear from you folks. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below regarding your University of Utah football. Are you excited for Kelvin? We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what your thoughts are. We do have a comment here from McKinley Cutler. We've got glad to see the Utes restocking the team after Whitt's ransacked the program. For sure. Even BYU too. They took a couple of their coaches, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Need the Utes to go. Need the Utes to be good for the rivalry to be fun. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Looking forward to. Yeah. I just think it's better for the Big 12 if both Utah schools are.
It is
having a good season. This was a great season.
It was a
Both
great
Utah
season.
programs had a winning record. For the Utes, it was just unfortunate they lost the only 2 games they couldn't lose. We were talking about this before a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
If the Utes lost to
Arizona,
but beat Texas Tech, they would have been in the Big 12 playoff game.
Yeah.
But if they lost to Texas Tech but beat BYU
in the Big 12 playoff,
yeah. They still just lost the 2 teams they weren't supposed to lose to.
You can't lose those ones.
Yeah, and congrats for BYU for getting it done and having another great year. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Another comment here from McKinley Cutler. They lost the defensive coordinator and the skills coach, but kept all their players. Thank goodness. Yeah, I was surprised to see that Devin Dampier signed, agreed to another year. I was actually surprised to see that. I thought he would follow Jason Beck.
So I was not as surprised because the University of Michigan has Bryce Underwood, who is like
that's true.
Devin Dampier on steroids. I mean, he's faster. He's a better passer. He's that same style quarterback. He fits perfectly into the Jason Beck offense. Absolutely perfectly. And originally it was thought that Bryce Underwood was going to leave because of the offensive coordinator changes. But he ends up staying, and I think that's why it took so long for Devin Dampier to really make his decision to stay with the U. Obviously, he's going to want to talk with his new offensive coordinator and see what the quarterback's coach is going to look like. And, he's going to do his homework on the incoming coaching staff. He knows what he has with the outgoing coaching staff. But also, what does Michigan have player-wise? Is he going to be competing for a starting spot? And with Bryce Underwood staying, he's not going to be starting for sure. He might be competing for a starting spot, but that's a tough get. So
yeah, no, absolutely, man. More to talk about in the off season about all that, and
so much.
It's gonna be fun, guys. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to our next subject here, and this was one that you brought up actually, which is actually a great topic to discuss because, let's talk a little bit about our Bird boy, man.
Yeah, Birdman.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Byrd Ficklin.
So what do you want to talk about here? Why don't you set the stage for this one?
So what I want to know, and I want your guys' opinion, so tune in, hit the comments down below.
They already tuned in, they're watching.
Tune in again. I don't care.
Chime in.
Yeah. Chime in. That works. That works. But let me know what you guys think. I think that there is a legitimate chance that Byrd Ficklin could compete for the starting job at the University of Utah.
Okay. Run your line. Let me hear it.
Byrd Ficklin had a fantastic season last year. He started in one game. Yeah. Right. And it was obviously only the game that Devin Dampier was hurt.
Right.
But in those games in all the games that he played, he had 513 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. He was 21 for 35 for 301 yards and 3 passing touchdowns.
No interceptions.
And this guy really just made an immediate impact as a true freshman, straight out of high school, out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. Byrd Ficklin came in and made it happen. This guy's the real deal, and he will. I think that. I mean, in my heart, obviously, Devin Dampier is just a more seasoned player, but I think at some point you have to look and say, does Byrd deserve a chance? You know what I mean? If Devin falters at all, does Byrd deserve a chance to start in football games?
Well, the short answer is yes. I think he is going to get a chance to start, but not for the reasons you thinking.
Yes.
Devin Dampier's style of play does not ensure a healthy season. Even you saw nothing but article after article going into the bowl game about how beat up Devin Dampier was going into that game, and people were wondering if he was even going to play. It's like he only missed one game, right, as a starter, but you gotta. It's his last season of eligibility, right? Devin Dampier. I think it's his last year.
I think he might have 2 more.
He does have 2?
I think he's got 2 more. Yeah, I think he's right.
Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Let us know in
I'd have to double
comments
check
down
that,
below.
yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, he had a great year health wise last year.
Yeah.
For his style of play, I don't expect that to happen again.
Yeah.
I think he might miss a game or 2. And honestly, man, I think Byrd Ficklin does have the opportunity to really kind of not only start a few games, but really kind of shine and basically cement his place as being, the QB1 going forward. Do I think he,
Surpasses Devin in his
surpasses?
time. Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't think this year.
So
If Devin Dampier is healthy this year, and let's say he goes down for a game or two with so some reason like a hip issue or something like that, whatever bothers him usually. Let's say he goes down for a game or two, and Byrd just balls out, right?
yeah,
Like we're talking about, just going crazy. Similar to the 301, 3 TDs, no interceptions, high QBR rating. Let's say he's just dominating, right?
yeah.
And Devin Dampier is ready to come back. I don't know enough about Morgan Scalley's head coaching philosophy to understand whether or not he thinks somebody should lose their starting position because of injury. I don't know. What do you think?
I think there's not a chance.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
Bird's a fantastic player, and I think that I think he will have an extended role in this offense this year as it is. He's great, and there's so many situations. I believe we'll see more Byrd Ficklin packages than ever before. I think we'll see a lot of packages where you put Byrd in and defenses immediately cue on a run play because of his athleticism and because of his 61 rushing attempts and 513 yards. Like, this guy gets the ball and he is electric with the ball in his hands. But he's also a, a, a competent passing quarterback. And I think you can catch defenses off guard. I think he can go in. I think you can run a fake run play and throw the ball. I think we'll see much more. The new offensive coordinator, Kevin McGivern, is crafty like that. He does like to throw some special plays in there. I watched quite a few Utah State football games this year, and they did run more trick plays than I've seen. So I think it'll be excellent to see Byrd in this situation. I don't necessarily think that he's going to ever overtake Devin Dampier for the starting position, but I do think that Byrd will see more playing time last year than he did this year.
I'd have to agree with you, just simply because they have to, right? It's a different time in college football. This is a guy who had interest from all P4 conferences.
Every single one.
Every single one of them before he signed in December as well. So I would think in this day and age, in this kind of college football landscape of NIL and all that stuff, you kind of have to. You can't let a guy sit back there.
And keep in mind, Utah was the only Power Four school to offer him out of Muskogee High School.
Right. So I think there's a little bit of loyalty that he's given there.
Yeah.
Knowing that he left some money on the table.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You love to see it. You love to see it. So hopefully he does get an opportunity, and we love to see that for sure. Got a comment here from McKinley Cutler. I think it would be cool to see a shared starting lineup where they line up together. Oh, okay. And that's kind of a running back.
Part quarterback, yeah. And they switch up to throw to just what I was just saying. Absolutely.
Yeah, because that would make sense because, he does have, Devin Dampier does have the legs, to run the ball.
That's a really tough backfield. I mean, what are you going to do in that situation? You can hand the ball off. You can't just play off the running back. You have to respect, even if he hands it off, that he's going to be able to throw the ball.
Yeah, you don't know who's going to throw. Yeah, man, that's actually a very good point. Very, very
love
good
that,
point.
McKinley.
It's usually is a statement if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Yeah. And it's like the famous saying there.
Yep.
If you have two QB1s, you have zero. So the fact that but in that scenario, I think there's actually some room for that. So that's interesting. We're gonna have to chew on that one and continue talking about that.
We got lots of time to talk about it. We got 9 months till football starts.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It's interesting. I love it. All right, so there is one more thing we wanted to talk about. I think it's funny how I go to reach for my screen too, even though I don't have to, because you reach for your screen, so I feel like I have to reach for my screen.
It's my thing, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we did want to kind of break it down because we did talk a little bit about it earlier in the show, but we haven't really kind of dived into it too much here. And I think this is the time where we want to let this one breathe. And again, please let us know your thoughts in the chat there. If you're watching this live on our live stream, Kyle Whittingham to Michigan. Now, we've all had some time to digest on this for a little over a month now.
Yeah.
And, while it's great, we did both see this being the last year that Kyle Whittingham was going to be a coach at Utah.
We did.
However, we did not think the reason why he stepped aside is the reason why he did. We thought it was similar to the way, Nick Saban exited, just the way the college football game is now. Yeah. It's more about a professional type option where you're going with who's paying the most, and These guys typically don't want to listen to a coach when they're getting paid millions of dollars to play football for 4 months.
Yeah.
So we thought it was going to be something similar to that, but boy, were we wrong.
We were.
Yeah, by him taking this deal with Michigan, that basically just kind of let us know that Whitt was not done coaching. He was just done coaching here.
Correct.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that Coach Whitt had to make a decision, and I personally believe that the school told him that they would like to move forward with Coach Scally, because Coach Scally is
You don't name a coach in waiting.
He's getting offered jobs every single year at the end of the season.
Yeah, you don't not mention a coach in waiting if you don't have that plan.
Exactly.
You're not subconsciously telling your head coach, hey, when you're done, this guy's going to be next.
Yeah. Yeah. And then to even go the next step further and say, hey, Coach Scally, we want you to help us assemble the offensive coordinator, the coaching staff for future years, because when Coach Whitt's done, we want to make sure that you're set up for success in the best way possible.
Yeah.
And they do. They let him. He helped select Jason Beck as a new offensive coordinator. And then when Coach Whitt leaves, boom, it all falls to shambles.
Yeah.
So obviously Coach Whitt goes on to take Morgan Scally and
not Morgan Scally.
Sorry, not Morgan Scally. He goes on to take Jason Beck and Micah Simmons and pretty much every offensive coach that they had besides Mark Atuia, who's the running back coach. He annihilates the coaching staff. He takes some of the, John Henry Daly. Who else did he take as far as players? John Henry Daly, Smith Snowden.
Yeah, I was going to say Snowden, but I don't know. That's not the only two, though. I think there was more than two.
Yeah, there's a couple more. There's a defensive tackle, I think. Mata, maybe. But so obviously he takes some players with him. He takes some coaches with him. And now Morgan Scally's left to rebuild this team really the way that he wanted to, whether he thought that he was going to get those players. Yeah. So on the Coach Whitt situation, I don't know. I guess I'm just not that mad about it.
No, I'm not mad about it because we didn't lose our QB1.
Correct.
While we did lose our offensive coordinator, I mentioned this to you privately, didn't mention on the show because I want to make a video out of it. But I didn't think Jason Beck would be here more than a year anyway.
Yeah,
I thought he was in route to get a head coaching job right out of the gate. I thought he was that much of a, kind of that he had that kind of interest about him already.
Yeah.
Like when you're seeing articles pop up and before the team even takes a snap on how long he's going to be at Utah before he gets the big headset, I just didn't think he was going to be here longer than a year, maybe two, as an offensive coordinator before he got a head coaching job somewhere. So I think maybe taking a stepping stone on being an offensive coordinator in the Big 12 is probably like another step. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be there for maybe a year, maybe two before he moves on to a head coaching gig.
Right.
So I wasn't really surprised. So that didn't shock me too much. We knew Morgan Scally was going to be the head coach. We knew, we're going to lose a whole bunch of players and a whole bunch of coaches if he left. So I do think I'm not really mad about it. I think it was time. But to Kilmer 11's point here, to lose a legendary coach, it went as well as it could have.
Exactly.
Could not have said it better myself. And honestly, dude, we got to set aside time on a future episode to really kind of give Coach Whitt his flowers for the time that he spent here with this club, because you realize there's been like 4 or 5 sitting presidents since Coach Whitt was head coach of the University of Utah football.
And the thing is Coach Whitt stayed and rode the wave through different conferences and ups and downs and losing seasons, and this 11-2 season that we just finished on, that is a great way to end his career. And an 11-2 season is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you wanted a Big 12 championship before it happened? Absolutely. But
yeah,
you can only get what you can get.
But if you can go to Michigan and win a Big 10 championship, you're going to take that any day, right?
Oh, yeah.
You go to Michigan and you're now competing for national championships.
You're getting a paycheck.
You're going to get an auto bid you can finish third, fourth in the conference and still get an auto bid in the Big 10.
You could not play in the title game and make it.
Exactly.
which is insane.
Which in the Big 12, that's just unheard of, right?
That's another thing we need to talk about when it comes to college football, because I think that kind of ruins it. I mean, you're getting a national title, a national champion, not this year obviously, but a national champion could win who didn't even go to their conference championship game, and I just think that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. How about Miami playing for the national championship and they didn't even play in their conference championship game?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to throw on here when it comes to the Coach Whitt and how it all went down, and we talked about, we thought he would be done because he was retiring. Turns out he's not done. I'm an avid listener of The Drive with Spence Checketts on ESPN 700. And he's been avid about this on saying that saying it without saying it is how I put this in my notes here, is that the money seemed to no longer support a Whitt-led team. They were no longer willing to shell out the money for players with Whitt as the head coach. And I talked to you about this once. It was during the BYU-Utah game. And as one of the people with one of the donors with a name on the side of their building, shouldn't have a hard time guessing who it is. You have take 3 guesses, you'll probably get it. When they were asked about how BYU was able to beat Utah, and this donor leaned over to Spence Checketts and said, "Field goals matter." And that was the statement that kind of let him know that the money was no longer necessarily behind Coach Whitt.
Yeah,
the money wanted to see a change, and I think that's why you probably saw the writing on the wall there, where the University of Utah made sure we named a coach in waiting to make sure Scally didn't go elsewhere, and basically kind of just put the position where they are. Like, is Coach Whitt a legendary Utah football coach? Absolutely. Is there anybody that's can be able to say that they got back-to-back Pac-12 championships under their belt in Utah? Absolutely not. Did he take us through the better part of 3 decades plus? Absolutely. But yeah, I definitely think it was time, and it was probably the best way that Coach Whitt could go out shy of a Big 12 championship, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, he had a great season to end, and I mean, coached some really, really good players, and Coach Whitt will always be a legend. You couldn't say anything bad about him. And Morgan Scally deserved the job. He deserved to step in and get the head coaching job now and mold this Utah team to kind of how he sees it. And I'm really, really excited about the future of this team with Morgan Scally at the helm.
Yeah. I don't know if I think this is kind of what I want to talk about, McKinley. I don't know if you said that we kept saying Big 12 when we meant Big 10. That's probably possible. Again, this apple juice does get going pretty good. But I do agree with you here that the Big 12 doesn't get any respect from the CFP.
Not at all.
You have to win your conference, and then depending on how well your season was up to that point, like if you are undefeated going into your college football, your conference championship, and you lose, then I think you'll get a bid. You'll get a chance to play.
Yeah.
If we have 2 undefeated teams going into their conference championship, right? Or
it's the only way, though.
It's the only way.
But realistically, right? And I'm obviously not a BYU fan, but the fact that Miami made the college football playoff over BYU, I don't know if I struggle to forgive the college football playoff.
Yeah, that one hurt, man. And
your only 2 losses are to a top 5 team in the country.
Yes, and I just no love for this conference, man. And
just none.
It's the it's the Pac-12 all over again. It's like,
it's an embarrassment.
It is. It really
it's an
is.
embarrassment.
It's unfortunate, and
And I hope the college football playoff. If from one of the articles that I just read, if the Big 10 and the SEC can agree, they could potentially move to a 24-team college football playoff next year.
Yeah, and
that's what it should be.
24. I think that's a little much.
No, 24. Bring them all on. If you're in the top 25,
I think
play them out.
I think you need to reduce the non-conference conference games you play.
You absolutely have to.
You should cut the season down to 10 games.
To make the 24-team playoff happen, you have to reduce some of those regular season games.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have non-conference play unless you're playing a Power 4 opponent.
Yeah, none of these give you games. Well,
it's the only reason it should be there.
Yeah,
you shouldn't have 3 weeks of warm-up.
Yeah, I really hate to cut Weber State's funding for the next 5 years for doing that. But yeah, I agree with you there. Like, there's the haves and the have-nots. The have-nots can break off and do their own thing,
mm-hmm.
But yeah, more time to talk about all of this as we go on. for sure. Let's go ahead and jump into the comments here. We have another one here from
Kilmer.
Kilmer.
Yeah.
You got this one?
Yeah. It says, and how can you not be stoked for him He could have left Utah for big time jobs several times, but he stayed loyal to Utah, unlike Urban. Such a great point. Coach Whitt was at the top of the coaching like rumors every single year because everyone thought that if a big time team came in and offered him all the money in the world, that he would jump out. And he stayed and he continued to stay. He had a couple rough seasons and he continued to stay. And only when, what we believe is the money at Utah said, maybe it's time to make a coaching change, did Coach Whitt actually step away and say, okay, I'll step down?
Yeah.
I'm not done coaching, but I'm ready to step down.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. I think that's spot on there, and that's a great way to end this segment on Utah. Again, folks, we'd love to hear from you. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you're watching this live on the live stream, keep it going, man. Keep the conversation going.
So much fun.
If you're watching this on YouTube after, keep in mind, folks, we did launch a channel specifically for your Utah football club called Utah Football DNA. It's a channel specifically dedicated to your Utah football. The channel will be linked in the description down below if you're watching this on our live stream. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening on the podcast after, link will be in the description down below where you can see a link.
Go hit that subscribe button. This is a great channel. Lots of good content coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.